Hey guys, girls, and NB homies. I always forget to suggest you like, share, and subscribe, but you can call me Church. Welcome to Church on Monday, the podcast where I talk at you about shit I like. This evening's libation is Il Pino. It is a vintage 2019 Pinot Grigio from Del Venzia Vineyards. And it is unique for me to be drinking a white. Yes, I'm a fucking pretentious red purist. I'm an asshole. You expect these things. But I tried a little bit of this one and I like it. I like the fruitier flavor. I'm just not a very big fan of sweet wines, though. I did get this nice Porto and I'm like, yeah, I should try some nice white wines. It's pretty good. It's nice and fruity. I do suggest it if you want to drink along. So this week is actually a funny story. I'm talking about a book. I was going to cover this with my friend Kayla Christensen. She's got a great booktube channel that I suggest you all subscribe to immediately. I will have a link up here and down in the description below. But we were planning on doing a collaboration where we go through this series of books and talk about each one together, give a summary, have a discussion. But she just had a fucking baby. So she's been very busy. She's had trouble with Zoom, all that, of course. And so we're kind of delaying the collaborative part of this, but I still read the whole fucking book. So I wanted to talk about it. So this week we're talking about, oh no, that's the wrong book. Open and Shut by David Rosenfelt, a 2001 crime drama. Let me read the back to you here. Defense attorney Andy Carpenter prefers the company of his best friend Tara to the people he encounters in the courtroom. Now Tara is his golden retriever, and that's why we started with this series, is because it was suggested to her, Kayla, as a crime drama series for dog lovers. And obviously, she has a golden retriever named Luna, and I stan Luna. Please clip that out of context. So she's obviously a dog lover and was interested in this. And I'm like, well, it's a crime series, so it'll be easy to read through pretty quickly. So we got the first book, and we were disappointed to see the title. It's just named Open and Shut, which is a kind of boilerplate crime drama title. But the rest of the series mostly has pun titles based on being for dog lovers, which is what is really enticing about the series. So let's start at the spoiler-free synopsis. So this book is about a defense attorney who picks up a case for a death row inmate who has recently gotten an appeal based on a technicality. Now Andy, our main character, has a well-respected father in the lawyer community who actually had a hand in putting this guy, Willie Miller, on death row. And so his dad, obviously feeling some guilt for something in this case, makes Andy promise to take it. And through the events of this case, he finds a massive conspiracy that he becomes entangled in and has to deal with the consequences of that in his life, while also navigating his interpersonal relationships with his estranged wife and the colleague who he has been dating while his wife has been away. Now into spoilers, so if this interests you, I do suggest it. It's a fun read, it's well structured, and I do suggest that you read through this before proceeding into my spoiler review and critique. Now, Andy's father dies early in the book. No tear. And he leaves Andy with a mysterious picture of himself and three other, I was gonna say gentlemen, it turns out that's not even fucking close to true, but three other men who seem to be recognizable as very powerful men within the community. And he leaves him with a mysterious, untouched $2 million fortune that Andy was entirely unaware of during his father's lifetime. And further investigation shows that he had never touched this money that was just sitting in an account for 35 years. So Andy believes that there's some conspiracy surrounding his father and the Willie Miller case, which turns out to be very true. It turns out that Victor Markham, the father of Willie Miller's supposed victim's boyfriend, and Philip Gant, who is actually Andy's father-in-law and a senator in New Jersey, have launched this conspiracy in which they framed Willie Miller for the murder of Denise McGregor, who was investigating the murder of her mother 35 years earlier by Philip Gant, Victor Markham, Mike... I can't remember all these goddamn names. I'm so bad with names, guys. I'm sorry. Mike something. Mike Anthony. That's it. There was someone else. Did they figure out who else was in the picture? I don't remember. But one was Andy's father. And it turns out that he's redeemed because he was in the house puking up while the others were all assaulting and eventually killing Denise's mother, Julie. And so this all comes out in court where Andy is defending Willie, and the conspiracy eventually shows that Willie was not guilty, of course. And of course the jury sees it the same way. It's just kind of a feel-good ending wherein they figure everything out, get Willie off, and serve justice to the perpetrators of this previous crime. So I liked it. I find the structure competent, but a little unimaginative. So here's my critique of the structure here. Now, Rosenfelt is really good at building up full narrative tension. Like, he strings these ideas in which build up pressure throughout the whole trial and everything. And I recognize that. There's a ticking clock element to this. There's a harsh-ass judge element to this. And it's really well fucking executed. However, what he is not as good at is situational suspense. So Andy is caught up in the massive criminal conspiracy to frame Willie Miller, obviously, because he's now his defense lawyer. And he is assaulted multiple times and attacked by criminals supposedly hired by Philip Gant. And there's just no horror to the scenes, you know? It's procedural, just like the courtroom dealings, but I can't slight it. I would have done it differently, but I understand what they're going for. And again, the narrative is well handled to where you're very involved in the preceding story and you feel attached to the trial. And so it does feel good when Willie is eventually set free at the end. But from the start, you kind of guess the end. And really, Andy hits the nail mostly on the head from the very start, even though he has to go through the whole frustration of actually investigating who's behind this conspiracy and his actual doubts therein. But otherwise, really good book. I do suggest it. It's a quick fucking read. It's like 300 pages. It's quick and easy, and I do suggest you read this, and I will be reading the rest of the series, hopefully in collaboration with Kayla, but we'll just see how that goes. I'll probably just put it on hold until she's ready. Now, I do want to talk about the politics of this, because I actually like it quite a bit. It talks a lot about racism, classism, and the death penalty in the judicial system, and how all of those are very unfair, and it displays them very well as being unfair toward white rich people and unfair toward anyone in the case of the death penalty. And this lines up pretty well with my personal beliefs around the judicial system. Now, obviously, I'm not a fucking lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not involved at all in this, and I don't read a whole lot of theory on it. But generally, I think my beliefs as a fairly leftist individual are built around compassion and the goal of a rehabilitative justice system rather than a retributive justice system, which I think is the best move forward and seems supported by this particular text. In fact, the title, Open and Shut, is kind of around how everyone believes that this appeal shouldn't have happened, and Andy has no hope in getting the original sentence overturned. But he's like, there's a man's fucking life on the line. This guy is in death row. He's been on here for 7 years, and there's a possibility that he was not guilty. And so I like that. I do like Andy as a character. He's a little egotistical. He thinks he's funnier than he is. He tries to seem more insightful than he is, and I relate well to all of that. But no, he does come off as a douchebag sometimes, but he justifies that well enough in being a lawyer, and he explains why he's being a douchebag and how he's just trying to lawyer the shit out of this situation. And I respect that, I understand that, and I like him as a character, so I look forward to reading more. Should I just fucking slam this right now? I think I'm done with the review. I'll just fucking slam it. So, that was a pretty good cup of wine, pretty good book, and I hope you enjoyed going through all of it with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. If you've read this book, I would love to hear your opinions on it, your opinions on what I said, and all of that, down in the comments below. You can also always reach me at Twitter and Instagram at its_just_church, or you can email me at churchonmondaypod@gmail.com. As always, love ya. Bye. No tears, don't fuck with more yet. Take what you can get. You're not my girlfriend.